I hope you're watching right now, because then you're going to understand whoever get in my way, I'm a dog walk their ass.
Yo, 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 it's your boy, Big Mike Raider. Welcome to the Big Mike Raider Show. Thanks for popping in. We got some things to talk about, but before we get into anything, make sure you like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. You guys saw it on Monday Night Football. The Raiders go down once again, going to 2-8 against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football in a complete embarrassing fashion, 33-16. Real quick, let's go over some of the stats. You already know Gino Smith looked terrible. Play calling, terrible. Chip Kelly, absolutely terrible. Pete Carroll needs to retire. Get Genty involved. It is not happening, right? Everything that we want is not happening. The offensive line looks atrocious from beginning to end. The tackles, atrocious. The guards, Jordan Meredith looked worse at the guard position than he did at the center position. Putnam, well, it doesn't seem like that's going to be a project that's going to work either. I had high hopes that he might come in and do something special, maybe bring like a spark to that offensive line. Turns out that's not the case. So let's jump into some of the stats, right? Gino Smith, 27-42, 238 yards, 5.7 yards per completion, 1 touchdown and 1 horrible interception. You can argue and say that that's his fault or not, right? That makes it his 13th interception of the season. QBR of 19.9. Horrible, right? Genty, 6 carries, 7 yards. What is going on? This is atrocious, right? This is our number 1 overall pick. We picked 6th overall, and we haven't done anything to support him. We haven't done anything to protect him. We haven't done anything to feed him, get into a rhythm. It's just been horrible on offense. He had 6 catches for 27 yards, 4.5 yards per catch. Leading receiver Brock Bowers doing his thing as always. Gino Smith was the leading rusher with 14 yards. That is a problem, everybody. That is a major problem. And then on the flip side, Dak Prescott had he just ran a clinic on this defense, right? 25 of 33, 268 yards, 8.1 yards per completion with 4 touchdowns, an 86.7 QBR, QB rating of 138.6 out of a possible 158.3, A+ game for him. Javonte Williams, 22 carries, 93 yards. George Pickens, 9 catches, 144 yards, was everywhere on the field, couldn't be tackled. Lackluster performance from this defense. And then right behind him, CeeDee Lamb, 5 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. The third touchdown was to Jake Ferguson, 4 for 16. And then Ryan Flournoy, 1 catch for 2 yards with the touchdown. Offense looked terrible. Defense looked demoralized after the offense couldn't capitalize on plays down at the beginning of the games, particularly in that first quarter when Max Crosby strip sacked Dak Prescott and followed that with a sack and then 2 incomplete passes that sent the field goal team out there, getting us up early 3-0. That to me seemed like the backbreaker. Guys, this team is hard to watch. It is hard for me to follow this team. It is hard for me to talk positively about this team. This team is worse than what I've seen in the Antonio Pierce era. This is worse than what I've seen in the Josh McDaniels era. This is worse than what I've seen year 1 under John Gruden. And to be honest with you, I have no answers. I have no answers. A lot of us are looking for answers. Now, we could say, hey, maybe it's time to fire Pete Carroll. He's 74 years old. He should have never been hired in the first place, especially if this is a rebuilding deal, right? This is a complete disaster, right? And if you don't believe me, shout out to Jim Rome. He went complete scorched earth on this team, on the Raiders. This guy went all in. This is one of the best things that I've seen on YouTube in quite a while. Guys, hey, let's laugh to prevent us from crying in this type of situation. Let's listen to what Jim Rome has to say, and I'm going to react to it, y'all.
Can you smell that? Can you all smell that? I can. all the way here in Orange County, the stench carrying across the entire desert all the way to the coast. You might also call that stench the autumn wind. Once again, Raider Nation, I am sorry to report your entire operation is rotten to the core yet again, and it needs to be blown up yet again. Blow it up, burn it down, set the ashes on fire, start over from scratch again.
That's pretty scorched earth start right there from Jim Rome, a complete legend in the game right now. And just for the last 30 plus years, right? I've been listening to him since I was a kid. A lot of us have been listening to him for quite a while. And this guy didn't pull any punches. He definitely didn't pull any punches on the Raiders. And to be honest with you, he's completely right. We've been fooling ourselves for quite a while saying this is a retool. This is a retool. We need to just add a couple more players and we'll be, a respectable team, right? This is not a retool. We need to rebuild this thing, right? And the problem with rebuilding in this situation is we have a 74-year-old head coach. We have an offensive coordinator who's inept, who should have never been even selected to be an offensive coordinator. We paid him $6 million a year to produce complete garbage. And, a defensive coordinator who, sometimes we get the best from him. Sometimes we get the absolute worst like we did on Monday night, right? And I can't really 100% give him the full blame on this one. But, at the end of the day, when you get 33 hung on your head, 4 touchdowns, somebody's got to answer for it. Somebody has to be held accountable. Let's let this thing ride out a little bit more, man.
Here's some free advice, too.
My best advice to you.
Next time, do not turn to a 74-year-old man to change your entire culture and change the entire course of your entire franchise. It's asking a lot. Yes, I admit it seemed like a pretty good idea.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I had to be sold on this idea. When we initially hired Pete Carroll, you can go back, and when I was talking on the phone with Wasted on his channel back in April, whenever he got hired, I wasn't a fan of this. I said from the beginning, Pete Carroll, the idea of hiring Pete Carroll sounds great if this was 10 years ago, and I should have stuck to my gut on that one. It's shown that he's outdated. He's kind of lost his fastball. He doesn't know he plays favors with the quarterback position, and he doesn't hold everybody to the same standard, and that's a problem. And when you're trying to rebuild, having a coach who's 74 years old is definitely is malpractice, because who are you passing it down to? Who is going to take responsibility when it's time for you to go? And to be honest with you, at 2-8, who's going to want to take this on, right? Who's going to want to follow what Pete Carroll is his shaky foundation? It's a problem. And, I think that we're kind of in a situation where we made a mistake and we almost kind of have to just ride this out. But let's let it continue.
At the time. Not so much now. No, the assassin, the gum assassin, is not a miracle worker. He's a gum assassin. He assassinates gum. He doesn't work miracles. Far from it.
Man.
That said, I can't even really blame Bowl Cut and Bacon Face for thinking that they had upgraded when they replaced Antonio Pierce with Pete Carroll.
So if you guys didn't know, he's talking about Bowl Cut. Of course, we're talking about Mark Davis, the owner. Bacon Face is Tom Brady, y'all. He's talking about ownership right here. So if you hear Bacon Face and you hear Bowl Cut, just know that he's talking about Tom Brady and Mark Davis, man. Let's let it ride.
Unfortunately, Bowl Cut and Bacon Face were very wrong in thinking they made things better by replacing Antonio Pierce with the gum assassin, because incredibly, the gum assassin has made it even worse. The gum assassin Raiders are even worse than the Antonio Pierce Raiders.
And that's a fact, guys. We are going backwards, right? Everybody was excited with the Pete Carroll signing, right? But here's the problem, and I've spoke to this before. when you hire a head coach with the resume of a Pete Carroll, it comes with a little bit extra when you're on the Raiders, right? The problem with it is they feel like their resume is warranted for a little bit more than just being the head coach. It's making the final say. It's being a step above the GM. I think from what it looks like to me, from my perspective, it looks like Spy Tech is taking a back seat from Pete Carroll, and that's malpractice at an organizational level. You got to let your GM be a GM, make the final say, right? It seems like a lot of the moves that were made, particularly in free agency, has been Pete Carroll moves, and it's bringing a lot of guys that came up with him during the times when he had success. Problem with that is a lot of these guys are old now, right? We brought in a Tyler Lockett. Okay, we brought him in mid-season, but he's past his prime at this point. We're not going to get the Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks. We got Jamal Adams, who's been playing pretty decent, but we're not getting a Jamal Adams when he was with the Jets. We're not getting a Jamal Adams when, he was leading the league in sacks, right? We're not getting that. We're getting a watered down version of what we've seen in the past. And it's the same thing that we're getting from Pete Carroll. That is a big problem. And when you have a team in an image that is outdated and expired, this is what you get. This is what happens. You go 2-8. Let me continue.
Fact. In fact, it's not even close. But way to go, BF, aka Bacon Face. Great hire, bro. And great choice of quarterback as well. It's not like the Gino Smith situation hasn't been a complete disaster or anything. Oh, great job, too, on using the 6th pick overall to take a running back and then not giving him the ball.
That is my biggest gripe for this season, man. And you guys already know how I feel about that. You draft a guy 6th overall in Ashton Genty, and guess what you do, right? You put a pitch count on him, right? You put training wheels on him. And I get it, right? You want to make sure that he doesn't get overused and he doesn't get hurt and things like that. You want to protect your assets to a certain degree. But at the same time, if you're trying to win games like you've been telling us that you've been wanting to do, you got to use the guys you have, right? And to top it off, right, the guys we drafted, we're not even using them, right? We've seen Jack Besh besides Ashton Genty. We've seen Jack Besh in limited fashion. We've seen none of the 3rd-round picks that we've had. We've seen Darian Porter play. He was originally supposed to be the starter. He was then thrusted a little bit later to be the starter. And then the 2 linemen that we picked, they're quote-unquote not ready right now. That's a problem. JJ Pegues, we can't even see him get on the active roster. He's always a healthy scratch. Tonka Hemingway, constantly a healthy scratch. This is a problem. This is a problem. And then Dante Thornton, we invested too high. We put too much expectation on a guy who was a 4th-round pick. Now his confidence is shot, right? Are we going to ever get the same from a Dante Thornton now? It's a problem. He was seen in the locker room, reportedly crying in the locker room. And what do you do on Monday Night Football? You give him 0 targets for 0 yards. This is killing his confidence. This is killing your assets. This is killing and really just neglecting your future. And that's the problem I have with this regime right now.
6 carries for your star running back, allegedly, against the Cowboys defense. They traded away Micah Parsons because, wait for it, they can't stop the run. Trust me, they still can't stop the run. But they look like it last night. But then again.
Now, we made this defense look like complete run stiflers, like they look like the 85 Bears as far as stopping the run. And to me, that bothers me. Every week by week, every team we've played for the last 5 years, we let the worst teams who are the worst in a certain category, they come out and they have their get out of the funk type of game against us in that department, right? Every single game I can think of. Oh, this team is bad at running the ball. It's stopping the run. So what do? We run the ball 6 times with Ashton Genty. I think it was a total of 12 times out of the 54 plays that we had the entire game. We run the ball 12 times against a team who all season hasn't been able to stop the run. Play action, play action, play action. Putting Gino Smith in a compromising position. What was it? 19 hurries, pressures. It was unreal, right? He didn't have time to even set his feet, get a rhythm. And yeah, he had some pretty good shots down the field at times, but it was a struggle. This offensive line, it struggles. It struggles. And I've said this time after time after time, to get your team, to get your offensive line out of a funk, you let them go downhill. Have them go downhill, man on man, assignment football. Give them some confidence, right? This is a problem with this regime right now. We're trying to run a scheme with guys who are kind of subpar and lacking some of the confidence that we want to see in an offensive line, especially with two of our best offensive line out for injuries. So what do you want to do? Keep it simple and have them go downhill. But instead, we run a bunch of passing plays and get Gino Smith under pressure and have him throw balls that he shouldn't be throwing, right? When you have Gino Smith throwing the ball too much, this is what you get. You get turnovers. And that's exactly what happened. Gino Smith looked absolutely horrible, and he throws yet another pick.
And how do we know? Because they didn't run the guy that they took with the 6th pick overall against the worst run defense in the NFL. I mean, damn, Vegas, really? Quick reminder, last time we saw the Cowboys, they were losing by 10 at home to Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. That's where Dallas was at coming into last night's game. And you'd never know it watching that game last night, because the Raiders made these dudes look like a damn juggernaut, when we all know the Cowboys are nowhere near a damn juggernaut.
Now, this is a different Cowboys team under new faces at the defensive position. There is going to be some improvement there. I will say that. And plus, they also had a lot of they were kind of on a high, kind of playing for their teammate that went down, an unfortunate situation. So there was a level of motivation for that team on defense. And you've seen it from time to time on that defense. The defense was swarming around. They did look improved, but this is still a team that had trouble trying to stop the run nonetheless.
That's right, Jera. You're going to have to do a hell of a lot more than that to impress anybody at all. Oh, great. You beat the garbage Raiders.
Garbage.
Who hasn't? Everybody has. You want to impress us?
It is what it
Beat
is,
somebody
man.
who matters. Beat a team that does not look completely lost. A win over the Raiders right about now means essentially nothing.
Damn.
Less than nothing, actually, because the Raiders are irrelevant, or in your words, irrelevant, and worse than ever. And I really thought that the energy changed when that speed talker came through that door, but no, nothing has changed. The head coach chews a lot of gum, a lot more gum now than the other guy. He also talks way faster than the other guy, and that's the only thing that's changed in Vegas.
Hey, he's not lying about that, right? We've seen a lot of guys come through here. We saw Josh McDaniels. We saw Antonio Pierce. Now it's Pete Carroll. And to be honest with you, we've seen nothing. We've seen no changes. It's actually getting worse. And that's because the reason for that is because we are fooling ourselves. This organization has fooled themselves into thinking that all we need to do is reload. We can win now. And they are slapping us in the face with that idea. And a lot of us are buying into it. I bought into it this year. I felt like this team, with when things can go right, if things go right, can be a competitive team and go 10-7, can compete for a final playoff spot. And what do? They slap us in the face once again for the second year in a row. I'm sick of it, to be honest with you, man.
Other than everything got worse. Like nothing's changed. It's just gotten worse. More gum, more words, more losses.
Yeah, more
Didn't
bullshit.
Even seem possible. Even my dude Max Crosby admitted as much after the game.
Max,
Check
man.
out this response on if things feel any different this year under Pete Carroll, even though the wins are still nearly impossible to come by.
So before we get into this, man, this is discouraging to me, to be honest with you. What are we doing with Max Crosby? You know, this is a guy who's in his prime right now, right? And in 3 years, he might be still in his prime, but he'll be in his 30s at that point, right? And what happens at that point? Are we still going to be in a rebuild situation? He would have wasted his best years trying to get this team in the right direction and doing everything that he can, playing with a bum knee, almost having to get his leg amputated. You know, name a player in the league that would go out there and root as hard and fight as hard for their team than Max Crosby. You can't name one. And what do? We give him nobody around him. We keep changing the culture. And he, at this point, he's got to be tired. So when he does leave in 3 years, if we don't fix this, because he will, we have nobody but to blame but these guys in the front office that are making these terrible decisions.
Every year is going to be different, you know, as far as the culture. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of different coaches here. It's not funny, but you got to find some joy in it. I mean, so yeah, culture's going to change with different coaches and things of that nature. But I mean, ultimately, it's about winning. I'm trying to win. I know everybody in this locker room is trying to win. So whatever that is, we got to find that. And, you know, it's really all I can say about that.
Man, it's so hard to listen to Max Crosby try to sell us some positivity on a weekly basis. I give him all the credit in the world for doing that, because he comes out here in front of the media on a week-by-week basis after loss after loss after embarrassment. He comes out here and he still shows positivity. He still shows that he's fighting. It never shows on the field that he quit, right? And he goes out here in front of the media week by week talking to Raider Nation that, hey, we want to win, right? Max, all due respect, right? You want to win. Does anybody else in that locker room want to win? Do these coaches want to win? Do they have the will to want to win? Do they have I won't even say skill, but just the are they equipped to win in today's landscape? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. And every year we have to hear the same thing from Max Crosby. And at some point you want to be upset about it. You want to be like, all right, Max Crosby, hey, Max, shut up, man. We don't want to hear it. Just win. But he's doing everything he can. And I'm giving him props for him being as positive as he is on a weekly basis for years, for him to try to sell to this fan base, to Raider Nation. Hey, stick around, man. We still got a chance. We're going to turn this around. I give him props for that.
Can't say how much respect I have for that guy. I mean, one of the greatest Raiders ever.
Yeah.
How does he maintain even a scintilla, good word, of positivity, given what's going on around him? Not exactly a ringing endorsement either.
No.
For your program,
that's the scary
Gum
part.
Assassin.
It's not funny.
Max is like, yeah, sure. The culture has changed. The culture is always changing, but the result always stays the same. Yes, the speed talker has his culture, but no, nothing has changed because we're still ass. And I don't.
You heard the man. He said this team is still ass. And hey, to be quite frankly with you, man, this team is ass. This team has been ass. Organization is ass, right? The way they bring in free agents on this team is ass. The way they've been drafting is ass. The way they handle the people that are successful that we've drafted over the last couple years is ass. So he's not wrong about that.
I hear a single bad word about Max Crosby. Not one bad word. And don't get any of this twisted. I am not in any way criticizing anything that he just said
Absolutely.
or anything that he's doing on the field. That dude is an all-time great Raider.
Yes, sir.
That dude gives max effort every single play, no matter how pathetic the team is around him. He is the perfect Raider in that sense.
Absolutely.
Because no matter how much ass there is around him, he's still going to ball out every single time.
Yes, sir.
Case in point, that strip sack in the first quarter last night.
Yep. And we talked about that right
Check
there.
him out. Just Max doing Max things. Oh,
Excellent
making
play.
a play right
Excellent
away.
play.
I mean, could you set a better tone? Could you set a better tone
No.
for your team in that game than a strip sack in the red zone at the start of the first quarter? Could you give your guys a better head start?
No.
Better energy boost? So
can't.
what does Gino do with that opportunity? Of course, he gets sacked on the very next play, and they've got to settle for 3. Which brings me back to the Gino problem.
So before we get into the Gino problem, right? This is a problem. This is what has been plaguing this team for a while. We even saw this against the Broncos. Defense makes plays, the offense can't capitalize, right? We get into the red zone and just sputter at that point. At this point, it's almost expected. It's almost expected. I had them getting in the red zone, and I was expecting 3 at this point. That's the sad part about all this, right? I should go in there with more positivity, but when you see on a weekly basis they can't get it done and just completely let down their defense when they do more than enough to be on the winning column, and this offense comes out here and is just complete, just shows ineptitude. Let's let it ride, man.
Not saying it's all on him, but Gino, my guy, what happened to you, dude? They wrote you off and you ain't right back, remember? Well, now they're writing you off again. And, well, we, whoever's doing it, we're right this time.
They wrote me up.
Yeah. People were writing him off, and he ran out of ink in his pen. It's over for him. It's over. We need to move on from him at the end of this season. Point blank, period. Simple as
I
that.
ain't right back, though.
Yeah,
This time,
so much for
they
that.
write you off, and they write.
Yeah.
Because you look cooked, my
That's
dude.
the problem.
Granted, I know you're not getting a lot of help in front of you. I know you're not getting a lot of help at all, but you're not helping yourself either. And you're
Absolutely.
not helping them. I guess I appreciate you trying to own it completely and take responsibility for being straight ass. But I would rather you played a decent game than be straight ass. And then just say afterwards, blame it all on me.
I can't help but to laugh, man. This dude went in, man. He went scorched earth, man. Let's let it continue, man.
Blame it all on
I
me.
keep saying this, man. If something don't look right out there, blame it on me, right? If it don't look right, blame it on me. That's all you can do. Blame it on me. If your kids mess up at school, blame it on me. Car break down going to work, blame it on me.
Now, I know he was trying to be humorous with that, right? But I don't think this is funny from a fan base perspective. I'm sure you guys agree with it, right? We have heard since the Derek Carr days, put it on me, blame it on me, week by week, blame it on me. The quarterback comes out there in front of the media, blame this on me, blah, 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 right? At this point, it's like every time I hear it, I want to strangle somebody. I'm tired of hearing it. Hey, somebody fix it. That's what we're looking for. How about you just come out there and just say we suck or something else besides, hey, blame it on me, right? Even if you're even being humorous about it. I don't want to hear it. This fan base, Raider Nation, doesn't want to hear it. You came at the wrong time with that, Gino Smith.
Well, dude, actually, it doesn't look right. So I will blame that on you. My
Yeah.
kids, I'll own that. My car, I'll own that. Hell, I'll own everything in my life. I'm not going to blame you for that.
13 interceptions, man.
I'm not asking you to fix my car or fix my kids or fix me. I'm asking you to fix you and your offense and your record. Don't worry, dude. We will blame you for the football stuff, just not for our kids. Not for our kids being late to school, but anything involving that offense, yes, we're going to point the finger at you.
Blame it
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah, and don't worry, you'll be gone next year too.
And Chip Kelly and the Gum Assassin and Ashton Genty and Bacon Face and Bowl Cut and everybody else. All these guys, all these changes, everything that was going to make
This
it so
man
much
went
better
scorched earth, man.
actually made it worse. How is it that you can't make any plays at all anymore? Gino, my dude, you have the entire city of Las Vegas clamoring for Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're one of the few fan bases that are really hoping for a guy who is, when he went last year, he wasn't even ranked in the top 40 quarterbacks on some charts. Why are we hoping for something that is not going to happen? Aiden O'Connell is not our answer, right? Hey, some of you guys believe that, but he's not our answer. It's not going to work, right? And every time we bring in these quarterbacks that had the best success elsewhere, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? We don't have the infrastructure for it. We don't have the coaching for it. We don't have the culture. We don't have nothing that equates to winning and bringing a guy who is a middle-of-the-road guy to get it done. If we would have brought Sam Darnold in here, it would have been a problem too. If we would have brought Daniel Jones, it would have been a problem too. And what does that mean? Draft a quarterback. Draft a quarterback. It's enough. We got to go to the first round in the 2026 draft and get the quarterback of the future, because all this bringing in a stopgap or a guy who has the most success somewhere 2 years ago, like we did with Jimmy Garoppolo, like we did with Gardner Minshew, and now Gino Smith, and expect success to happen all over again, to reignite a flame that fizzled out last year and expect it to happen again is malpractice. We need to stop doing it. And this fan base is sick of it. I am. At least I am.
Who even knew he was still there? And no offense, but do you know how badly you have to suck to make the Raider Nation pine for the glory hole days of going 5-4 with interim head coach Antonio Pierce and Aiden O'Connell at QB? I mean, hell, at least Jera had some actual glory hole days.
Glory hole days.
I mean, sure, 3 decades ago. Bullcut, though, has never even won a playoff game well in control of the Raiders. Now,
man, the standards have been raised down to basement level, guys. Come on, man. We talk about just win, baby. All this other stuff, commitment to excellence, right? All this stuff seems like an absolute joke to me at this point, right? Because year after year, it's commitment to ineptitude and just win, maybe, right? Or please just win one, baby, please. Like it's pathetic to me. I don't want to hear none of it at this point. Don't say nothing.
one, Bullcut's glory hole days are that one time that Antonio Pierce won some games as an interim head coach, and that other time where Rich Bisaccia won some games as an interim head coach, and that one good year that Jack Del Rio had that nobody remembers.
Yeah.
And all the good times when he posted up at PF Chang's with his flip phone after rolling there with his exotic minivan. Nobody can ever take that from the Ginger Bowl.
I want me some glory hole.
Ginger Bowl.
Don't we all, Jera? That's why I can't give Jera and the Cowboys all this credit, or really any at all, for some sort of a huge breakthrough win last night, because it wasn't that. It was just a win over the garbage Raiders, who are somehow inexplicably even worse than they've ever been before.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't been good anytime recently.
Oh, man.
If ever.
Here we go.
I think they were good. Like, I'm old enough to remember when they were good. But you got to be pretty freaking old to remember when they were good.
God. You guys remember when we were good? I do. I was in high school. I'm almost 40. Enough said.
Cowboys. Hey, yo, Cowboys. Before you walk around acting like, man, that's our get right game, our get back game. Beat somebody who matters. Beat somebody good. You've got the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Vikings, the Chargers coming up. Win a majority of those games and then come and talk to me. Hey, by the way, even if you win 3 of those 5, you're still only 500. 500 is not going to get you into the NFC playoff field.
Yeah, true.
So, Cowboys, my point is this. You got a hell of a long way to go before you can even start
He went
strutting
on the
around,
Cowboys too,
puffing
man.
your chest
Crazy.
out, acting like you're anything at all. Beating the Raiders is not convincing anybody of anything other than the fact that the Raiders are still ass. And I can
Jeez.
smell them from here in Orange County.
Oh my God, the stench coming from the desert is the autumn wind. Man, that was a level just shit talking right there, man. Shout out to Jim Rome.
Only redeeming thing that the Raiders did last night was an onside safety punt. And how many of you had even heard of that before?
The Raiders are good at being innovative at like the most negative, horrible things, right? A safety punt, meaning that you got a safety, meaning that your offense got pushed around into your own back end zone, and now you got to be innovative with trying to get the ball back, right? It's the most ridiculous, embarrassing thing to brag about, to boast about, for people to be talking about, that we just made a revolutionary play, the safety punt. And that's the best we got this whole game. That's the highlight of this game. The highlight of the game. And we didn't even get it. We didn't even get it.
They executed that sort of. Actually, they didn't.
Jeez.
They botched that too. Check this out. This game was so awesomely off the rails for the Raiders that they tried an onside
on national TV.
I mean, it's hilarious. An onsides safety punt.
Popped up straight into the air. And recovered by Pickens. Why not?
I can't share anymore, man. I can't share anymore. So shout out to Jim Rome going completely just ape shit on the Raiders on his show. If you guys haven't checked him out, Jim Rome on YouTube, I'm going to leave the link in the comments if you want to check it out, man. Shout out to Jim Rome. Hopefully he doesn't mind me sharing that video. But here's my take, man. I hate the Las Vegas Raiders. And you know what? I heard it from a good guy. Shout out to Murph. He said the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. I'm not there yet. I'm not indifferent to this team yet. I do care. I care because I want to see them win. It's been way too long. And when I say I hate the Las Vegas Raiders, I hate where they are right now. I feel bad for Oakland Raider fans. I feel bad for people who've been following this team from Oakland to LA, back to Oakland, and now they're in Las Vegas. They stole the soul from this team when they went to Las Vegas. You can't tailgate the right way you want to. You can't even get in the game because the tickets are too high. And to make things worse, on a weekly basis, they suck ass when they're on the field, getting just completely wrecked on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis. Embarrassing. Other teams come in here, fill the stadium in our own home stadium. We have no home field advantage. These other teams come in and they have a damn party because they expect to win. They know they're going to win. Dallas Cowboys fans, about 70% of them came in to Allegiant Stadium on Monday Night Football with not even just the expectation to win. They were confident they were going to go in there and whoop the Raiders' ass. What happened? What happened to this team? And what did we get since they moved to Vegas, right? In 2020, empty stadium. In 2021, the whole thing with John Gruden, and then we snuck into the playoffs. We got lucky we made the playoffs, right? And then from that point on, it was the Patriot way. And then we were supposed to get sold with the Patriot way with Josh McDaniels and everything the Patriot way. And then we got teased with Tom Brady. Is he coming in? Is he not coming in? Well, he's not going to be our quarterback, but now he's our owner. So now we're supposed to be excited about Tom Brady being the owner, right? When absolutely nothing has changed since he's been the owner. And then guess what after that, right? Devontae Adams comes in. It's supposed to make a difference. He doesn't want to be here because of the ineptitude, and I can't blame him for that. I can't, right? And then we get sold for a Raider fan and cosplay as a head coach. He comes in here in his lowrider and wearing black Air Forces and wearing Raiders gear, and we're supposed to get excited for that. We're supposed to get excited for it. And it's a slap in the face. And then he gets fired in 1 year, and guess what we get? We get an outdated Pete Carroll. Compete. Now a whole new slogan that we're supposed to hold on to and really put our faith in. And guess what he did? He set everybody to that same standard to compete, but the guy that counts the most, the guy who's supposed to be the leader on the team, in Gino Smith. It's an exception when it's him. Everybody else has to compete. JPJ has to compete. He spent the whole season at the guard position, and then he got injured. We can't even see our draft picks go out there. Caleb Rogers. What's going on with Caleb Rogers? Charles Grant. We haven't seen him all season. Darian Porter. And what happened to the guys we got last year? DeCamerion Richardson. Where is he? We let go of our best corner on the team in Jacorian Bennett for a guy who's a rotational piece at the D tackle position. He hasn't made a difference. Go back, forward, back. We, instead of getting a generational guy at the D tackle position, we get Tyree Wilson, who's a rotational guy in this league, not a difference maker. He hasn't shown to be a difference maker. And then we want to buy in to Malcolm Kuntz, who under interim tag, he had his best ball. And then he gets hurt. And then we give him a prove-it year, and he's done absolutely nothing. Nothing. And then we make a move last year at the free agent position and get a D tackle, a guy who's a top 10 guy, and Christian Wilkins. And he's over there doing who knows what in the locker room. And now he's not on this team. I hate the Las Vegas Raiders. And emphasize on Las Vegas. Emphasize on Las Vegas. Because I love the Oakland Raiders. I love the grit. I love the home field advantage that we had. I love the Los Angeles Raiders. The home field advantage, the fans, the Coliseum. The Las Vegas Raiders, it's corporate. It's soulless. We don't have a home field advantage. Every year we're getting sold a gimmick. And I'm sick of it. And you should be sick of it too.
I'm watching right now, because then you're going to understand whoever get in my way, I'm a dog walk their ass.